welcome back to the 13th Destiny with Magnum, and standing by on the phone will be my co-host Danielle Long. She will be back today, so just hang tight, everybody. So here's what we got going on. Let's do our weekly shout-outs for our friends at the Holiday Inn, University Plaza Hotel here in Bowling Green, Kentucky. It's located at 1021 Wilkerson Trace. It's next to the Sloan Convention Center, which they manage, and the convention center is owned by the city of Bowling Green, Kentucky. If you're thinking about coming to Bowling Green, please check them out. They're a great place. I've been doing business with them now for over 20 years, and sometimes I have breakfast there, sometimes I eat in the evenings. It all depends on what I'm out doing. But Seth and Heather are the GMs and assistant GMs, and they are awesome. Check with them, check with the desk. Everyone there has always treated me like family, and they try to treat everyone like family. So check them out, and come to Bowling Green if you're interested. But always check ahead, because there's a lot of events, especially over the summer. Okay, also, nice shout out to our friends down at Oak Grove Racing and Gaming, right there in Oak Grove, Kentucky, near Fort Campbell, Kentucky, home of the 101st Airborne. That's a great racing facility, great gaming facility. Got a nice hotel there. Check them out. Real good friends there with them. They have been nothing but nice to me as well when I've been down there. It's been a while since I've been down there, but everyone treats me great, including the security. So I love them, guys. So check those out. Now we have a couple other things, and one of the last things I'll be doing today is about the guests coming up next week. But I will be in May 9th, 10th, and 11th, down in McNairy County, Tennessee. And if you remember when Sonova Cantrell was on the show, she will be down there signing some stuff and doing things at the museum. Of course, she's been on the Discovery Channel and everything, and she's been on our show. I'm going to be down there trying to meet with her up in person, and also down there for the Buford Pusser Festival going forward. Still no word on the other stuff that's going on, as well as you may know, anybody that follows that stuff. And now, for our next show. Coming up next week, you are going to love the guest we have coming up next week. I am so excited that me and Danielle are going to get to talk to this guy next week. His name is Rob Goutreau. He is a paranormal investigator, a psychic medium. He's written a bunch of books, even about pets and stuff. It's just, he is just an incredible guy. A lot of stuff to check out. We're going to have a lot of links after we have him on the show. He also has a connection here to Western Kentucky University, where he went, here in my hometown of Bowling Green, Kentucky. And he even gave me a little message about living in a haunted house unintentionally over on 11th Street here in Bowling Green, Kentucky. And I cannot wait to hear about that. That's going to be pretty exciting, all the stuff he's done. He's done quite a bit of stuff. He's written a lot of books. So we're going to have a real good time having him on the show next week. And now, today, before we get started here, I'm going to give you a little warning. It's going to be kind of a short show, maybe. It depends on how much we get to talk about this. We're going to talk about a paranormal-related movie. It's fictional, that Danielle and I watched the other night. It's a 2018 movie, and it's called Look Away. And something that, before I get Danielle talking a little bit with me here, when we get her chimed in, one of the things, if you remember the first show, if anyone's been listening this long, remember the first show that I had Miranda Young, the Ghost Biker, on, she had mentioned sometimes unintentionally Hollywood and other filmmakers sometimes do some things and goes a little to the extreme. It is for entertainment purposes, but sometimes it may unfortunately do a disservice to some of the real paranormal investigators, but it also has brought a lot of people to paranormal investigation. So it's kind of a catch-22 with that situation. And no further ado, Danielle, how you doing today?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I am doing pretty good. And we didn't mention this. I guess we should mention this, because I know there's some people that follow the show that I forgot to say something. I know they probably watched it on Facebook or whatever. My health is still pretty much the same. Nothing's changed. So we'll just say the spot on my kidney hasn't changed. That's good news. And so I'm feeling okay about that. Might feel a little bad about other things. But yeah, overall, I'm feeling pretty good that maybe something at some point will get resolved. But it just wasn't unfortunately resolved today. But anyway, so let's talk a little bit about this movie. This movie was, wow. Was it over the top, or was it over the top with some? I mean, it had some really wild twist in it. That I guess when we started, I guess we should talk that me and Danielle watch movies a lot together, and even though she's out in San Diego, we kind of have this thing. We watch movies together. And so we decided we'd watch some to do, since we'd been out for a couple of weeks, we decided we'd watch something paranormal related, and kind of talk about it on the show. And that's kind of what we're doing right now. So it did have a lot of twists, didn't it, Danielle?
Yes, sure did.
Did you see any of those coming? Like, I mean, because I really didn't. I was really taken back about how, and I'm going to try not to give too much away, but at the same time, try to review it as best I can with Danielle. It's kind of the basic summary of this movie is it's basically a girl swapping lives with her reflection in the mirror. Which it was.
Well, that's the setup of it, where it's this. You call it like a teenager, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Teenager.
Like a teenager. She's got a mom and a dad.
Mm-hmm.
And she looks into the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And the reflection talks back.
Yeah. I will admit that from where I was sitting and watching it, even though you were watching it out in San Diego at the same time we were watching the movie together, I was like, oh, wow, I didn't see that. I mean, I kind of got an idea when I read the overall summary on Amazon. We were watching. I was sitting there going, oh my goodness. I was like, okay, that caught me off guard. The way.
Well, yeah. I thought it was a good movie.
Mm-hmm. Can you hear that beeping? Yes or no? Because I'm pretty sure the microphone probably hears it. I don't believe that the health people are calling for the appointment next time, and I'm not going to be able to take that call. They just hung up. Okay, I'll call them back after the show. So if anybody heard that, I don't know why. That's the second time that's happened when I've been on the podcast, by the way. I didn't. I cannot make that up. The last time they tried to call me after I had been literally, they said they'd call the next day, and they called on the same day of the podcast. They just did it again. I'm going to leave this in because it's funny. It's just absolutely funny. But anyway, yeah. So she has a lot of problems. As typical teenager problems, and plus she's a lot more shyer than other teenagers, and so that plays into the whole wanting to change your life kind of thing. I think the movie, however, took it in directions that I just could not believe it was taking it. I mean, if this were
she seemed to have a very low self-esteem,
mm-hmm.
and she would be bullied and couldn't stick up for herself.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. And anybody.
So it seemed like the reflection in the mirror was. It was very menacing.
Yeah, her reflection becomes much more aggressive than she had ever been.
Yes.
I mean,
like more and more aggressive.
Yeah, it was like which I mean, obviously switching from something that. The image is totally different of what you think you see in the... Because, I mean, remember the image even asked her that, what do you see in the mirror? And, she kind of let her into all that. And, again, this is a very fictionalized version of paranormal stuff, as we had talked at the beginning here. But, I mean, it is it's basically a horror film at the same time. So it's you kind of understand it. They're going to go kind of... for theatrical reasons, they're going to try to shock you, and the movie is very shocking. And I will try not to give too much of it away, but I found it to be very shocking in certain ways that I wasn't expecting, especially with the mother and the dad, things that had happened previously. And I don't know if you took this from that. I'm going to try not to give too much of this away, but I got the feeling that the mirror image was related to the twin that didn't make it at birth. Did you get...
Yeah, you don't want to see everything about that.
Right. Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. So I can give a plot if you want me to give the plot.
You got the plot? Oh, okay, yeah, give the plot. Yeah, give the plot. That'd be good.
Okay. So, and people can decide if they want to see it or not, but right. I thought it was a pretty good movie.
Yeah, I liked it.
It says... Huh?
I said I liked it too. It was good.
17-year-old Maria Brennan is a timid high school student, shunned by her peers and bullied by her schoolmate Mark. Her only friend is the unpleasant Billy. She also harbors a secret crush on Lily's boyfriend, Sean. At home, Maria suppresses her emotions around her parents. Her distant father, Dan, is a plastic surgeon who's a philandering guy and an obsessive perfectionist. And her mother, Amy, suffers from depression and nightmares. Maria accidentally discovers a sonogram of twins. In the bathroom, her reflection begins to move on its own, terrifying Maria. She attempts to discuss it with her parents the following morning. However, they brush her off. After dreaming of her own birth, Maria's reflection begins talking to her, calling herself Ariam, and telling Maria she can take her sadness away. Ariam is a charismatic, assertive, and confident. Maria asks who she is, and Ariam simply says she has always been here. Dan offers to give her an early birthday present. When she arrives at his office the next day to receive her gift, he tells her he's going to perform cosmetic surgery to fix her flaws. That's sad.
Mm-hmm.
Crushed, she begins to find solace in Ariam's presence and support in confronting her inner feelings. Amy senses that something is wrong with Maria, but it's repeatedly shut down by Dan. Lily takes her for a skating lesson in the upcoming ice skating winter prom. But after Maria slips and is unable to get back up, Lily simply taunts her, then abandons her on the ice. Finally, Maria is humiliated and physically assaulted by Mark at the prom. Devastated by these events, Maria goes into the bathroom and finds Ariam. Their palms and lips touch, allowing them to switch places. Amy has a nightmare about giving birth. At school, Ariam is visibly more confident than Maria, even standing up to Mark. She arranges for Amy to run into her husband's mistress as a way of forcing her to acknowledge Dan's affairs and their superficial marriage. Maria, struck by the mirror, is appalled by Ariam's behavior, but Ariam insists she is only being honest and tells Maria that all of them must answer for their sins. Ariam leaves Mark to the shower and breaks his knee. Huh?
Oh yeah.
After secretly practicing figure skating alone, Ariam has another lesson with Lily, who becomes intimidated by the way Ariam is acting. When Ariam chases Lily across the ice, Lily falls into the pavement, fatally crushing her skull. In the bathroom that evening, Maria frantically begs to switch, but Ariam reiterates that Maria wanted Lily out of their lives. Maria asks again who she is, but Ariam only replies, "You know me." Ariam then seduces Sean, and the two begin an intense relationship. Ariam begins living more wildly, smoking marijuana, skipping school, and drinking alcohol. While at the motel together, Sean gets a phone call telling him that the police want to speak to him and Maria. Ariam refuses to go, and Sean becomes suspicious. He picks up his jacket to leave, and in the moment of an impulse and fear, Ariam hits him over the head with a vodka bottle and kills him. Deeply upset, she sits against the mirror in the bathroom, and she and Maria cry together. Amy has another dream about giving birth. It's revealed that Maria originally had a twin sister who was murdered after birth by Dan due to her supposed physical deformity. Against Amy's pleas, Ariam leaves the hotel and confronts Dan at the clinic after hours, pretending to be heavily intoxicated. She strips naked and demands to know if he could still love her if she were deformed. Clearly perturbed by the question, he finally answers yes, and she kills him, the scalpel, and he lies dying. She cries and asks, "Why couldn't you love me?" Ariam no longer sees Maria when she looks into the mirror. Frightened and alone, Ariam returns home and crawls into the bed next to her mother. A series of mirrored burst shots depicts Maria and Ariam on the bed together with their mother, implying that they have merged into one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, see,
I wasn't sure what any of that was about.
Yeah, I think we kind of gave that a part away, but yeah, I was going to bring up a couple things that it kept bugging me. I was like, okay, so is this literally saying the mirror image that was switched is gone, and now you are that? So here's the thing about that really got me was, and we didn't have time to talk about this before I got on the show, but I'll tell you what got me about that. I'm going, okay, so now you're merged into one, and someone's going to have to pay the consequences of everything that has just happened. So it's going to have to be you, obviously. Because they're going to come for.
Yeah.
Remember, the police were already looking for her in this movie. So even though they left us hanging, I think that my theory in reality was, yeah, you switched, but someone's coming. Someone's coming for you, and it's going to be you that's going to be the, because and of course the mother being in the situation that you just talked about, it was part of that plot that they gave part of that away, was she's in no shape to handle that when this goes down. Oh, and by the way, the whole strip naked thing in front of the dad, I had no idea where that was going when we were watching that movie. I was like, whoa, where is this? I was like, well, even though you just read that about what actually happened.
She seemed out of her mind by then.
Yeah, I was like, okay, where are we going with this? I was like, I had no clue where we were going with this. I was like, because neither one of us had seen this movie up to that point. And I'm just like, okay, this is getting wilder by the minute. And I'm going, where's this going? And then I realized, I was like, when she asked that question just before what you just mentioned, that I said, here it comes. And I was like, okay. Wasn't quite sure what the producers and directors were thinking at this point, but I got it after that. I go, well, okay, I get it now. So, but yeah, it kind of threw me off guard.
As a paranormal,
yeah.
it was the dead sister's spirit that was trying to.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's how I took it, is because of the way it's and they brought that up during the film, and it was like there's no reason to bring this up during the film unless this is related to the image in the mirror that has switched, and then now at the end of this is like what we just talked about here, was that this is emerging, and even though we're on audio, so we're not really, so it's interesting. Even some of the stuff that she read in the plot and the people that that had to give a little bit away, but it's still a very interesting movie if you want to watch the movie. I think it's actually isn't that I believe that movie is actually TV mature audience rated. So just to give you a heads up on that. So
I think so. Well, you don't want your kids to.
Oh God, no! Oh no! I don't even think older teenagers. Maybe depending on the age, but definitely nobody. Yeah. I think it's rated for a reason. This one's definitely rated for a reason. Yeah, it was interesting, and it goes back to that whole disservice unintentionally to the paranormal, but at the same time trying to relate to some stuff that. And I think there's another part of this movie that I actually agreed with them doing that. It's like trying to point out about the whole bullying and how you push somebody into something where they want to change their life so much that they would go down a path like this if it was available. And I think that part's actually good, because it's like.
Do you think she was psychotic?
You talking about the mirror image?
Do you think or is it supposed to be really the spirit of her sister?
I think it's.
I took it as her going nuts.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons I think that it may be that too is with the mom also being so, this doesn't always happen, of course, as you well know. But sometimes there are family histories that do, and that might have been related too. But it was, but it, the I will give the filmmakers credit on kind of throwing it around a few different ways, trying to make it, making us think about the thing. I mean, like I said, it's still an interesting movie to watch. So I think anyone who's listening to us talk about it might want to watch it. Yeah, I will give them credit on this. They definitely threw us around a little bit. I think they kind of had it twisted a couple different ways just to kind of throw us off as we're watching it. And like I said, I was thrown off in a couple different scenes, and I wasn't quite sure where they were going with things. And then with the whole, as you mentioned in the plot that you just read and stuff, about the whole twin at birth and all that. So I believe it might have been
how they're connected.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm thinking it's a little bit of both. I'm thinking that before she switched, she had really a lot of problems with everything, some mental problems and her own self. And then, of course, this happens with the switch. And with the switch, and now, like I said, as we talked about that ending there, someone's got to pay for the consequences of these things that have happened. And now there's only one. So, but she's playing the person she has switched with, and now you are the one person. So all this gets very, very dicey, as I call it. It's like, wow, this just went way over the top. But yeah, that's pretty. It's a pretty wild movie. But it's
and the cast, and the three main characters, her, the mom, and the dad. Let's see, it's India Isley.
Mm-hmm.
Eisley. Isley. Maria Sorvino. And Jason Isaacs and Harrison Gilbertson, Penelope Mitchell and John C. McDonald and Kristen Harris. Those are the main.
Yeah, and the movie ironically does have.
Now the rating for the movie.
Yeah.
On IMDb is a 5.8 and a 3.4.
Right.
5.8 on there, and then you look at ratings on, so it was like a 3. So it's like medium, like a medium movie, but I thought it was okay.
I thought it was better than I expected it to be. Actually, I was kind of surprised there was a couple of little slower, but I was really surprised that it moved along as well as it did. And the
acting was good.
Oh yeah. Some of these people have been in some other stuff. I've seen some of these people in other stuff. So a lot of them, the young ones, from 2018 to now, they've actually been in some other stuff. And so I have seen some of them. And the movie's only like an hour and 43 minutes. And oh, by the way, it is TV. It is TV mature, but it says 16 plus for anybody to as far as watching it. So that's what it says on that. But yeah, I found it to be rather fascinating. For the young actors seemed to do a really, really good job. I was really surprised that because obviously all the actors, even though they're playing like teenagers, all these actors were obviously over the age of 18 at the time that this film was made. But they definitely did a good job at playing the teenagers really well.